For tomorrow's game against AS Roma. Take questions from the floor and use the microphone provided. Gary, do you want to start us off?
Thanks very much. Hey, so bad news with Vic since we last spoke to you.
I guess a bit of a shock first of all because we obviously saw that he picked up the injury during the game and he was sore at half time, but it was no doubt about him continuing, and so you kind of digest that, and then post game again he was sore, but you're kind of going, well, he's played 60 minutes, sore ankle, we'll tape it up and go again, So it was, but it's I guess, and externally now people realise it's a testament to him as a person. He's just he's as tough as nails, as tough as they come, and the fact that he played at that level, for 60 odd minutes with a fractured ankle was quite outstanding. Like I said, I guess the shock of it wears off, and then you just got to sort of process. He's going to be missing for a while. Knowing him, he'll push the limits as to how long that is, and also knowing him, you'll get daily updates about that through his Instagram. Big blow, but for him personally, I guess, because he was having an outstanding season for us and really growing as a leader within the group. But we've dealt with setbacks before, and we'll deal with this one.
He'll become a bit of a hero, probably already has become a bit of a hero, a bit of a legend with Tottenham fans for playing through an injury like that, no matter what comes next.
I think so. I think, like I said, externally you probably now realise what we knew internally, about him. It's the reason I kind of made him part of the leadership group this year, because you just see the way he goes about his business on a daily basis, his mentality. He's got a really strong mentality. He wants to be better. I mean, I give the guys days off. I guarantee you he'll be in anyway, doing something. He's just that kind of person. And, an unbelievable performance. I mean, irrespective of the injury, it was a really strong performance for him. But taking that into context, it's certainly one for the sort of record books of this club in terms of outstanding performances. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Ange. How are you?
I'm good, mate. You're sitting far away from me.
I've got to sit next to Gary today.
You have to? Okay, fair enough.
What sort of Spurs are we going to see tomorrow? Because we've seen some brilliant Spurs this season, especially last weekend at Man City, and we've seen some average Spurs against Palace and Ipswich. So which Spurs are we going to see?
You'll see the same Spurs you see every game, mate. It's about going out there and trying to play our football and try and, be the best we can be. Sometimes that doesn't work out, and hasn't worked out for us in a couple of games this year. And we know that, and it's something we need to kind of improve. But, at the same time, it's been more good than bad. So if you're looking for likely outcomes, I'd say good. But we have had the flat spots that we're working through. But I don't discount the football we've played either. I think we've played some outstanding football. And as I said, for me, it's just about progress. And I'll keep saying it, that we're a better side than we were last year, and we want to keep improving. And if we keep improving, then the areas where there are gaps we'll slowly overcome.
And while age is only a number, you and I are still both very young men. Claudio Ranieri in the opposite dugout, 73. Do you think I'll be sitting in front of you at the age of 73? And what does it say about him?
You at 73? That would make me what? About 100. I doubt that's going to happen, mate. Not even in your world.
What does it say about him to?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, mate. I mean, it's it just goes to show you that the passion he has for the game. Because I'm sure there's a lot sort of more enjoyable and simpler ways for him to live his life now, but he still has that in him. And I haven't come across him before, but I'm looking forward to saying hello, because it's always nice to actually meet some of these people who have made such a massive impact in football, particularly in my field, managers. And he's always come across as a gentleman. So looking forward to meeting him. And it just goes to show, like I said, that kind of, I guess, bug you have as a manager for being on the touchlines doesn't leave you.
Hi Ange, I just wanted to check with Vicario, do you have a time frame on the injury that you could give?
Not really. I mean, it's not going to be weeks, it'll be months, but sort of, he's had surgery, and you kind of know with surgery there's certain timelines, but because it is VIC, and also I don't like giving timelines so early in the process of something like that, because I think it puts undue pressures on the player, and also maybe some expectations. I think once we get past the sort of rehab stage and he starts getting out there, we'll have a bit clearer idea.
And because he's out, it's going to be a number 2 in, who's probably Fraser Forster. Is he ready to step up to the level you need in terms of style of play, in terms of match fitness and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's why he's here. I mean, Fraser played, he's already played, Carabao Cup. He's played a couple of European games, and that's the reason we played him. It's the reason we have him in the squad, and he's ready to go.
Hi, Ange, Simone Dell'Uomo from Italy. What's your perception of Italian football? Because when you started your career as a manager, Italian football was at the top of European football. And secondly, just a curiosity, have you ever been close on joining any Italian football in your career?
No, I haven't been. I haven't been close. I've always had there's always been a connection. Again, coming from Australia, you'll know, especially in Melbourne, there's a really strong Italian community, and very passionate about their football. And there was always an interest in Italian football. And like I said, it's gone through various stages. From the great AC Milan days and so forth, where some of the best foreigners in the world were playing in Italy, and then some of the best Italian players. I mean, I never had a team in Italy, but I always loved, obviously Saki is one of the geniuses of Italian football, and I loved watching Sampdoria play when Luca was there, and so I've always had an interest in it, and it's always sort of been at different levels, but you always know when you play Italian teams that because they're so passionate about their football, that's always shown in their teams. But I've never sort of been close to going there, but love the country, love the food, and I love the football. So,
Ellie.
And just want to ask you about Ben Davies. Obviously, fantastic against City at the weekend. It's been talked today about the club maybe taking up an option in his contract to keep him for another year. Been here more than a decade now. Do you think he's a player that maybe gets the recognition he deserves outside this club for the reliability that he brings when he comes in?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's hard to say with perceptions, because it depends what your kind of barometer is, and there's so many these days that depending which sort of rabbit hole you want to go into, you could get any sort of outcome you want. But I think I would doubt that anyone who has any sort of real sort of passion for this football club or real passion for football wouldn't say that, he would be very, very highly respected within and outside this football club. He's captain of his country. As you said, the testament to his ability is the fact that a number of coaches through this football club have all entrusted him at different times. So, whether that's my opinion or Jose, Antonio, or Maurizio, or whoever else he's been managed by, that just goes to show. So I don't think there's any doubt that Ben's well respected within the game, and he's still performing at a very good level. Like I said, he's captain of his nation, and with us, he's this year, I think he's really grown into that sort of defensive role of playing centre back, and I said on the weekend, him and Radu were outstanding against the top team on the weekend.
Quickly about Destiny Udogie and Timo Werner. Destiny came off towards the end of the game. Looked like he had a couple of times he went down. And Timo, maybe when he made the pass for Brendan Johnson.
They're both okay, mate. No issues. Yeah, no issues. Thanks.
Hi, Ange. You obviously gave your backing to Fraser a minute ago, but the club still do have the option to pick up a free agent if they wanted to. Yeah. Can you rule out that possibility?
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. No.
Particular reason why? Because you're backing the players.
Well, that's why we've got a squad of players. Yeah, I mean, I don't think us signing a sort of a free agent now is going to help us. If if I hadn't named Fraser in the Europa squad, then geez, that would have been a radical decision, and you're left with 2, then you kind of, again, they wouldn't be able to play in Europe. You kind of look at it, but unless something else happened, that's why we've got 4 goalkeepers. We've got young Luca, who's, to be fair, he's been injured, so he's not really ready. But Fraser I've known for a long time, and he's such a strong character within the group, and always ready to play. Brandon's improving all the time, so and Alfie's also sort of been at the club for a while, and whenever he's been asked in terms of the training capacity that they bring, I'm more than comfortable with what we've got.
And just on Claudio Ranieri, he's obviously most well known here for what he did with Leicester.
Yeah.
You talked before about your own journey getting to here, and I guess how unlikely at times it might have been. How much were you inspired by arguably the greatest story to happen in Premier League football?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's inspired, but certainly it's what I love about football. I mean, because there aren't many sports where that can happen. Where such an unlikely story of a club and like you said, a manager who had already had a really strong reputation, that it comes together like that in sort of the biggest league in the world. A hell of a story, and it's one of those where if you saw it in a movie, you'd say, great movie, but never going to happen, and it did, and I guess for everyone who lived that experience within, I guess, the Leicester Football Club and everyone who's associated with the people in there, and I'm sure Claudio and his family. I mean, that's what we all sort of crave, just to leave some sort of footprint or imprint of our careers that sort of lasts beyond our ability to do what we do, and he certainly left an enormous footprint with that season at Leicester.
Okay, we'll go Matt and then finish with Dan, please.
Beyond what Tom was asking about free agents, does the goalkeeper situation change anything in January? Do you activate something?
Yeah, not again, Matt. Not from what's happened now. I mean, look, we've got an injury, and I think any club that gets a significant injury in their goalkeeper, kind of assesses where they're at. I think it's not just another injury, but at the same time, like I said, it is just one injury. We've been dealing with setbacks for a while. I mean, there's a lot of talk about depleted squads. We had 2 schoolboys on the bench on the weekend, and we've been sort of very shallow for quite a while, but because they don't come up here and highlight it every week, doesn't dismiss the fact that we've kind of learned to deal with these things, and this is another challenge for us. January, we're always working towards the next window of what the best sort of scenario is for us, and a lot of that will depend on sort of where we're at from a squad perspective, from a games perspective, but just this injury doesn't change any plans for January.
May I also just add, the sort of the great big tables now seem to settling into some sort of shape. How important is it for you, do you think? How big a relief would it be to get one of the top 8 places and skip that extra round?
Yeah, I think that certainly needs to be the aim, and I mean. My goal is to stay on that first page, because I just can't scroll down below that, so it makes it easier for me in my age with my eyesight to look at it. So any win that keeps us on that first page is good. Look, our European form, I mean, obviously the Galatasaray game was a disappointing one for us, but in general it's been really good, and again, not in easy circumstances. We had a red card after 5 minutes in the first game. We've played a lot of young players through it. And we've given a lot of players game time, which has been really good, because I think the benefit of Europe for us, apart from, we're in a good position, is that guys like Rado and Ben can come in on the weekend and do a good job because they've played, significant game time. We didn't have that last year with our European football. Guys like Archie Gray, Lucas Bergvall, all these guys are getting game time. Obviously, Mikey before he sort of picked up the illness. So, through us sort of still with me making some significant changes, we've maintained some decent form. We want to continue that, and I think that the quicker you can sort of guarantee that kind of top 8 spot, leaves you that little bit of latitude. Like I said, 2 less games in the second half of the year. I think that certainly has to be our aim.
Dan, finish us off, please.
And I saw an interview with Joe Hart talking about when he came to Celtic, you changing his perception on having to play out from the back. He's from the same generation as Fraser, that I guess when they started their careers, this wasn't such a big thing and such a big focus. Any similarities there, and can you just talk about kind of, I guess, teaching these older goalkeepers to sort of play that way?
Easy how you go with the ageism there, mate. He's a big guy, Fraser, if he walks in here. No, look, I think there is a misconception around that. I do want to play out from the back, but I don't need my goalkeepers to be, Maldini or Platini. In fact, the simpler they keep it, the better for me. I keep saying to the players, stop passing to the goalkeepers. They've got the gloves on. They're the goalkeepers. You're the player. So the whole thing is about setting it up so we give really simple solutions to our goalkeepers. And it's not about their technical ability, because if you look at the way we play out from the back, and Joe's a great example of that, when he came to Celtic, it's about them executing really simple passes that they do every day. They're actually quite good at it, goalkeepers, all goalkeepers. It's more about mindset. It's more about them not thinking that what they're doing is risky, because that's what it comes down to. It's not a skill. Like I said, I'm not asking them to ping 50-yard balls. In fact, it's harder. Like when keepers go long, it's actually a harder skill, even for normal footballers. So I'm asking them to do short passes that they're capable of. It's more, like I said, the mindset of it, of just showing them that, there's no risk here. Don't worry about the risk. It's the setup is there for you to execute. And, I found that with Joe, and I found it with other keepers I've had in the past, where people say, he can't play out from the back. And of course he can. He's a goalkeeper. We can pass the ball. That's what they do. It's just about having a structure which allows them to do it in the cleanest possible process, and then changing their mindset, because the only barrier to that is if the goalkeeper doesn't feel comfortable doing it. Not because they can't, just don't feel comfortable. And, Joe was brilliant at Celtic. He embraced it all in, and Fraser's the same. It's not like Birchie's going to start working with him this week. He's been doing it for 18 months. That's all we do at training. They get included in some of our passing drills, some of our possession drills. They're in there, so they're doing it. So that's where I kind of sit with that.
And just on that, I mean, Joe's a kind of interesting case, because people think of Guardiola kind of deciding when he came to City that he couldn't play that style, and in some respects that's the first thing a lot of people think of when they think of Joe, despite all the stuff he won. So I take it you kind of don't see goalkeepers in the same way, in that he can play out, he can't play out.
Well, it depends on what you mean by that, and every coach has got a sort of different version of that. I'm just talking about me. I'm talking about the way we play, and the way I don't want my goalkeeper to think that he's got to hit defence splitting passes. That's not what it's about. It's about, I've said before, I want control of the game. So when it is a stoppage or a goal kick, we have control of the ball at that time. I don't want to put that in dispute by just going long. So we want to play out. So, but the playing out is just one bit. It's what's ahead of that, to make it as simple a process as possible.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.